Welcome back, everyone. I'd like to take a moment to remind everyone that all the information in this video will be available in a link down below in the description box. There you'll find a PowerPoint presentation should you need to reference anything in the future. And as always, strive to make content that'll continually inform the public regardless of your financial access. So, without further ado, let's dive in. Now, I know there are individuals and companies right now that are struggling to get through these really unprecedented times. Today's video, we're going to focus on finding ways to prepare for the next unpredictable event with tips on how a company can maintain a lean structure. Remember, we can only guide you through these topics. The only way to make the change is going through and acting. So these tips should help you review every year or so, regardless of how big or how small your company is. And again, don't forget to click the link below. All the information is going to be in the description box. All right, so the first thing you want to concentrate on is decluttering your business. When a company is booming, everything is starting to grow. The unfortunate part is individuals, companies will start to buy excess things. Laptops, computers, electronic items would be the more common things generally. And when a company does have excess items, excess storage cabinets, we tend to forget that the only way to maintain a nice lean business is if we minimize the amount of things we have in our office. Now, we do spend a whole lot of time maintaining our business, making sure we constantly keep our customers and the B2B activity in a good positive direction. But don't forget that your office space does tend to increase additional costs that you don't really notice. So the best way to combat that is on a yearly basis, go through, get inventory of everything you have, look at how much usage that you got out of these items, and if there's a way to consolidate the usage of a desk or a cabinet, reorganize things to make things a little bit easier for you on a yearly basis. Now, you do have many options to get rid of these items. You can always turn around and use social media apps if you're willing to take that jump to use a online app or an online company to sell your items. You can always go ahead and donate these items as well. It does look good upon the company to give these excess computers, these excess laptops out to a local school or a local orphanage or a family foster home. Those always are really, really good for the company to have as a narrative for the company. So it does allow you to clean out your office space. It also gives you a good idea that you're leaning out your company, but also giving back a little bit in that particular option. You have to remember, you do also have the ability to sell your products to your employees at a reduced cost. It does give the employees the ability to take these things home, to use it within their home, removes items from your books, removes items from your office, but also you're able to take in a little bit of money rather than attempting to sell it all out or dispose of it in any fashion. So that does give you a little bit of help as well. So moving on to the next section that we're going to cover today is looking at your reoccurring expenses. When you spend money to repair an item, when purchasing one may just be the better option. You have to do a few repairs on an item. It may end up costing roughly the same price as the cost of a new one. That does run things down a bit faster on your expense side. Now, it may work for that short period of time, but remember, if this item is going to be used for 4, 5, 6 years, taking in consideration the amount of times in the past that you've had to repair this item or similar items, and consider the full cost that you've had to use to maintain this particular item. For example, we use an automobile. It's pretty easy for people to understand this. If you were to turn around and purchase a $25,000 automobile, you're able to use it for the first 2-3 years. Most vehicles don't run into too many major problems if you maintain the vehicle well for the first 3 years or so. Then, for example, a tire blows out. Okay, that's not too bad. That's a couple $100. That'll be no issue. Year 5, year 6, year 7 is when your vehicle will really start to become more of a hassle. Things break, belts, replacement of seals and gaskets and stuff are always going to roll in right around that 5 or 6 year period. And those are usually pretty efficient as far as your cost. Now a laptop or a computer, because those are used every single day, and those do seem to last quite a long time. And if you're having to take your laptop into a repair shop after 6 months, a year, it's probably a better idea to replace the laptop itself. Also, as if it is an old item, after 4, 5, 6 years, laptops, computers, it does make sense to replace it rather than upgrade it. All those individual expenses will be pretty obvious when you go to take your item to a repair shop or to a mechanic to repair it. They'll give you a pretty good idea of what your cost is going to be, and then really sit down and make sure that you're not overspending for the repair of those items. So moving past physical items, looking at the structure of your business is another way you can reduce your expenses. Now, when we mean the term leaning out, it really comes down to getting the most out of the employees that you have, or reducing your staff that will keep your sales level, keep your customer service level at the same or better, because you have less individuals to have to pass your customers through. So leaning out the structure of your company, your production team, your sales team, your customer service team, leaning those out, reducing your staff a little bit will definitely reduce those yearly expenses. And if your company is to grow a little bit, it does make sense to kind of hold on to the level of staffing that you have until it feels like you're pushing everybody a bit too far. And you'll know, because your employees will tell you something. They'll make you aware of what is too much. So you have to take that in consideration, add one employee. But remember, you want to try to keep it as lean as possible. So that was some items you can do within your expenses and your staff. Now, the next question here moving forward, especially now, is do you truly need a physical office to run your business? Do you need a lease of location? Do you need to rent a facility? Is that something you really, really, truly need to do? Now, the individual business itself will determine if you need a physical office or not. So if it's food service, insurance sales, you may consider having an office as a primary direction of your company, a primary item in your company. Now for food service, obviously having a storefront that has the name of the business, pictures of the food, that sort of thing is going to be pretty common. But you have to also take into consideration, you can actually use the catering setup to make your food business work. Now, deliveries to homes, running events, if that's the direction your company goes, you don't really need an office. If you're a restaurant, obviously you do need a location. So take that in consideration on the direction of your company and what's best for your company. If it's insurance sales, the generations now are moving a lot towards internet, phone calls, text message, video calls. It actually doesn't make sense for a lot of new upcoming insurance industries to have a physical office. Now it does run into the classic style or traditional style of a company to have a physical office. But now when we have so many other directions of making communication to our clients, voice calls, video calls, it's almost the equivalent as having a physical office. So consider that when you run your business. Do I really truly need to have a physical business to run my business and have that outreach to my customers? And truly, to be honest with you, most businesses don't need them anymore because of the way we have pushed towards an electronic age. Set up a Zoom call, set up a Skype call, set up a video call with your customer. There's face-to-face interaction. You have this very much the equivalent of that, but you don't spend a third of your revenue on an office space. So that's definitely something you want to take into consideration if you're starting a new business. Now again, all these things can be done by yourself. If you don't feel like you can handle these, or you don't feel like you can be one to take this advantage of these information, always look at outside help. Friend, family, not really a good place to go. You definitely want to do a third-party accountant, financial advisor, business marketer, business advisor. Those are always people you want to reach out to. Now, those that don't have the money to do something like that, obviously you're not going to do that. But if you do have a little bit of something sitting aside, call out, find out if somebody can help you, get yourself organized, get your company organized, follow up with roughly the same things that we discussed over the course of the video. And this will definitely give you an idea of how your business is working. So don't forget that you always can ask for a third-party advice, third-party help to seem outside of your company, that you can then turn around and go, you know what, this does make sense, or this minimizing this does make sense. So again, make sure you look out for help when it's available. And again, do your research. This individual may have a history of bad claims. Always want to look into this person before you choose, because this may end up being several $1,000s that you're putting into this individual or this company to help you advise. So make sure you really take the time and investigate this person or company. So it looks like we went over our 10 minutes, but you know what? That's okay. I wanted to make sure we got everything out to you guys. So again, I want to thank you for taking the video in, listening through it. We really appreciate it. Just a reminder, everything is going to be down in the description below. And if you have any comments or any questions, pop that down in the comments section. Don't forget, knowledge is power.